This is the plaintiff, Anthony Ruocco. He says the defendant, his niece, took a table of his about 25 years ago and won't return it. Last time he asked for it, she became quite indignant and felt she was entitled to keep it because it was her grandfather's, even though he never gave it to her. Bottom line, the table is his, and family or no family, he wants it back. So he's suing for $1,200, its value. This is the defendant, Pamela Ruocco. She says the plaintiff was like a second father to her, and this lawsuit's about as sad a situation as you can get. Her uncle is very pompous because he has a PhD and thinks he's better than everyone else. That's why he always sues his family. Bottom line, he told her she could have the table, and she's keeping it. She's accused of tabling an uncle's request.
Elegance have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Anthony Ruocco, you are suing your niece, Pamela Ruocco, for $1,200, the approximate value of a table that you say she has of yours and refuses to return. Okay, tell me what's going on.
Well, several years ago, my niece purchased 2 condominiums. Customarily, I'd always been generous to my niece. I had some pieces of furniture, 3 pieces of colonial furniture, and I told her she could have them. So she came to the house and took the furniture. She had some help, but she went beyond the 3 pieces of furniture. She had to have this traditional pull-out table. So she took that.
Wait, weren't you there when she was taking the furniture?
No, I was not there.
Who was there?
My wife may have been there, but she wasn't involved. She was taking care of children.
Okay, how did you find out? Well, you know, even when you have children, you can go downstairs and see what's going on. But how did you find out that she took the table?
Well, later on, I realized, maybe a week or 2 later, that she had taken the table.
Did you say anything to her then?
I told her that she could have it for a while and that she could return it at some point later on. She could use it.
When did all this happen?
This happened about 25 years ago.
25 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in mid-September of 2009, I called her on the phone and told her that I'd like to have the table back. She said, "What do you need it for?" I said, "Well, I have the 7 grandchildren, and I'm redoing the playroom, and I could use that table." And I understood that she never even used the table, never served a meal on it. She became very indignant. She said the table belonged to her grandfather, my father, and that she was going to keep it. And she hung up the phone on me, okay? I really didn't understand why she was so possessive about it. I was generous enough to give her 3 pieces of furniture. Why did she have to have the 4th?
But during the 25 years that passed, did you folks have a good relationship?
Well, she was always over the house on the holidays. Yeah, it was a decent relationship.
Okay. Why won't you return the table?
Well, actually, I was given the table in the spring of 1977.
Wait, I'm trying to figure out where I was in the spring of 1977.
Well, I have a picture of
I got it. Hold on. Go ahead.
In that time frame, I went to my uncle's house, which we had a very good relationship. I was there all the time throughout my childhood. And I saw the table in the back of the garage. And all from the time I was 18.
Before or after you got the colonial stuff?
It was in a few months.
Got it.
I cannot remember. Okay. I was always taking furniture out of the garbage and refinishing it in those years, and I always liked old furniture, and I happened to notice this old table in the back of his garage, not in his basement. And I said to him, "Oh, Uncle Tappy, I like that. That's a nice table." I know him as Uncle Tappy.
Okay.
I said, "Oh, Uncle Tappy, that's a nice table." He said, "That was Grandpa's table." He said, "But I'm sorry, my kids scratched it all up." His kids are quite a bit younger than myself. They wrote on it, they drew on it. and the legs are water damaged. There was a little flood, and he said, "Why, you like that table?" And I said, "Yeah, I like that table." And he said, "Oh, well, if you want it, you could take it, but it's all ruined." And I said, "Well, it's not really ruined. I refinish old furniture. I could fix it."
So you take the table.
So
This
I
is
took
25
the-
years ago.
No, this is 33 years ago.
I'm sorry. This is 33
years ago, and I have pictures.
Oh, you had to say that. All right, this is 33
I'm
years
sorry.
ago. And then, did you refinish the table?
Yes.
Do you have a picture of the table?
Yes.
May I see?
I have many pictures.
Where's the table now?
It's in my apartment.
He made a comment that she doesn't even serve a meal on that table. What's
This
that
is
about?
not a table to serve a meal. This is, at one time, maybe you could open it. I've never opened it, and I have witnesses that see the table. It's like a side table.
Okay.
Okay? And I never had the leaves, so I don't, it's never been opened. I only finished the top and the legs.
Okay.
Okay. So,
So you get a call from your uncle saying,
so in the end of August, beginning of September of 2009, I got a call from my uncle, and in the last couple of years, we have not been on the best of terms.
on account of why?
There's been a lot of family crisis. My father's very ill. My mother's been very ill. There's just been a lot of family crisis, one thing after the other. I don't know. I wouldn't say that we were on bad terms, but there was a few incidences that made things very difficult for us to be as close as we were. But we really never talked about it.
Do you still see each other?
I had not seen my uncle for about 2 years, I would
Oh.
say, something like that. This is the first picture. This is in 1977 of my studio apartment, and that's the table in the back, but I have better ones.
Looks more like an office desk.
Well, that's the way it looks. You'll see. And this is the table. This is my 22-year-old niece, who's 2 here. And
So
this
when
is
you get the
table.
call from him out of the blue saying, I want the table back, what do you say to him?
He says, "How are you?" We have small talk about his health. I asked him about his health, and he says to me, "Remember the table, Grandpa's table, that I gave you?" And I have letters that he says he gave it to me, that I gave you.
Can I see the letters?
Yes. The very first letter, the language is, "I gave you." And after that, subsequent letters are that you took from my basement. In the very
These are
first...
the letters that he sent after the phone call when you said, I'm not
Yes,
giving
in
it back.
August, September. This is dated
Out of
September 24th.
curiosity, when he asks for it, and I realize that, you're looking at this saying, what are you kidding me? It's been 33 years. It's my table. It's been with me for 33 years. Why don't you just humor him and give him back the table? Like, I'm just curious.
Okay, well, first of all, the table meant something to me.
Okay.
It was very sentimental to me. For whatever reason, I'm a very sentimental person. I put a lot into this table, and it's my table. That's the way I feel after 33 years. At one time, it's
So is it because you're embittered with him for other reasons?
No.
Or is it because the table means something important to you?
I don't think that as far as not giving him back the table, I am not embittered to him as far as the table is concerned. There have been issues over the last few years that I find to be disdainful, but not to do with the table.
Such as this lawsuit?
Such as this lawsuit, such as some dealings
How
with
do
my
you figure,
dad.
Mr. Rocco, how do you figure that after someone has a table for either 25 or 33 years, pick whichever you want, that I'm going to look at this and say, oh, it must have been a borrowed table?
Well, there are several fabrications here. First of all, the table was not in my garage. It would never have survived in the garage. It was in the basement.
Okay.
Now,
Can we
when
talk
I say-
about what, like, the course of the last 25 to 33 years and how it is that I'm supposed to look at this as a borrowed piece of furniture? If it was a year ago or a couple months ago, and it's, I get this borrowed piece of furniture concept, but it's hard to call it borrowed when it's 25 years ago, according to you.
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying. However,
And then how does it get to this stage where there's an actual lawsuit between family members?
Ugly. It's very ugly.
Has your family sued each other before?
In my side of the family, we are not that kind of people. I'm from a working class family. I do know that my uncle's been involved in many lawsuits in the
Against
past.
family?
Against family.
Who?
Against his wife's side of the family. I do know that. In fact, it destroyed their relationship, and they haven't seen each other, and they were very close.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Would you ever sue a relative over something like a table, even if you're in the right?
No, I wouldn't.
Why?
You don't want problems between family. You just let things go, you know?
But if right is right, why not if you're in the right?
It's hard to say. When you're dealing with family, it's better to just leave it and let it go.
So basically you're saying family can take advantage of you because you'll never sue them.
No, I just think it's unethical that you would sue a family member for a table when you love them.
Okay, fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
I'm sort of surprised by this whole thing, and it's very hard to dissect when a loving relationship goes this sour. I see in this letter that you asked me to look at where it says your telephone tirade, he's saying to you, was indeed indicative of an unusual possessive attitude. What's your hidden motive? It rightfully belongs to me. Now you tell me, sue you for it. You justify your position saying it's your grandfather's. Did you ever see your grandfather was hospitalized for 8 months before he passed on? You did not. And then all these old family wounds are coming up.
I was having brain surgery during that time. And
I taught you how to read when you were 3. Aunt Ginny and I babysat for you while your parents went to Roosevelt Raceway and elsewhere. I encouraged both you and your boyfriend Alan to marry and make a life for yourselves. You discarded much of the good advice. Today he's a doctor and married someone else. I don't know why anybody would bring that up.
And he's very hurtful. I mean, he needs control, and he will do anything to hurt you.
When you were ill, I was in the hospital. When you argued with your parents, I tried to bring priests. Now you yell into the phone and talk to me like I'm a 3rd grader. I'm surprised at you. I've been in and out of the hospital, and you could care less. You hung up the phone on an uncle who was kind and generous to you. See, I have to tell you, I am surprised that he's asking for it back. I am surprised that he'll sue you for it. I have to tell you, I have humored my family with so much more than this at some point where it's like, all right, it doesn't sound reasonable to me, but here's a stinking tip. You have your reasons, whatever your reasons are. My job is not to ponder why, even though I can't help myself because I'm fascinated by human nature, and I'm fascinated by family systems, and I'm fascinated by the dynamics where someone can teach you how to read, and then now you can't humor him with a darn end table. The whole thing, there's so much more to this than meets the eye, but not to me. I have to rule based on what's in front of me. Do I think this was a loan 33 years ago or 25 years ago? Or do I think this was a gift that he has now 25 or 33 years later changed his mind on? And I think it's a gift that he now 25 or 33 years later changed his mind on. And there is no legal requirement for her to return the table to you under these circumstances. So I rule in favor of the defendant.
Thank you.
And so the table stays with the defendant. Come on out here, the plaintiff leaving the courtroom here. What's your feeling about that outcome?
Well, we have a family, and I was very generous to my niece in many different ways.
Why do you want the table so much all of a sudden?
Well, because it was my father's table.
You'd rather sue her than just go get another table somewhere?
Well, it's her very stubborn attitude, her manner of hanging up on the phone after so much generosity for so many years.
So that's a yes. You would rather sue her than go get another table
Well,
somewhere. All right.
She was the one that told me to sue her. That was the only way. But
Time's up. Just head right around there. No table for you. All right, come on in here, and you get the table. All right, so how do you feel coming out of here after this lawsuit from the uncle?
I don't think there's any winning in a situation when it's family. He's my godfather. He was like a second father. It's very hurtful.
All right. He says you hung up on him and mistreated him, and he has something in his mind there.
I can't defend anything that he has in his mind.
Did you hang up on him?
When he asked me for the table, and we had a lengthy conversation, yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very surprised that he would ask me such a thing.
You told him, well, sue me for it, right?
Well, actually, when he started talking legal kind of stuff, I said to him, not sue me for it. I said, what are you going to do, Uncle Tappy? Are you going to sue me for this table?
Yes.
And
Harvey?
Yes.
Okay, Kurt, just FYI, you can't sue to get the table back because tables are not unique, and the only way you can sue to get the return of an item is if it's got some unique feature to it. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.